At this point, you would normally start mocking everything up. You would put the crank in the bearings and make sure that the stroker crank's not hitting the caps or causing interference somewhere, and make sure you have some thrust. And you'd be checking your rocker arm, your roller rocker, to make sure it's over the valve, and checking your push rod length. You'd be doing all kinds of stuff. But this is a stock rebuild. I mean, I don't think we have to mock up anything. I didn't deep flash the block or try to make it look prettier. You know, it's going to be fine. It won't be as pretty when you're building it because it's not painted. I thought a street car, you might want to paint it when you get done instead. So it won't be as pretty as we work on it. But I think at this point all we do is hammer in the cam bearings and take it outside and wash it and get it ready to put together. I'm not going to bore you with, I think you're probably about to OD over all this cam tunnel work, so I'm not going to bore you with me measuring that cam tunnel, because I want to know. When I get the cam bearings in, I'll check the cam and make sure it's straight and try to put it in, make sure it's going to work. I wish it wouldn't go in so I could use that cutter, because the other day I didn't measure the bearing clearance after I used the cutter. The few times that I've had to use that, we never thought about the clearance. We just wanted to make sure the cam would turn, so we run the cutter, cam turns perfect, and we put it together. There wasn't much we could change at that point anyway. But I want to know how much clearance that cutter has given me on each location. When I thought about it the other day, the crank was already in. All I could do was check this one. And it had 2,000ths, which is right perfect in the middle of the range of 1 to 3 that Mopar tells you. So that was good. I like that. But I don't think we have to do anything. I'm going to put the cam bearings in and let's get this thing going. I measured the cam tunnel. This is what it's supposed to be. And it was, these are the middle of the range. So you have a half a thou under and over in the factory range. The front was 130 1/4, which was a quarter high in the range, quarter low, half low, and dead on. So they were all perfectly within the range. Now it's time to put some cam bearings in and see if the cam will turn. We've done this before, so there's not much to it. I just oil up, clean out the bores good first, of course, the cam bearing bores, and then oil up the bores, put a little oil on the outside of the cam bearings, and the main thing is get it lined up with this hole good. Look at it as long as you want, but get it lined up and before you start hammering on it. And then as you come in, of course, you'll be wanting to check it with the flashlight all the way in. Hopefully that hole's lined up good enough. I'm having to pile drive this thing. I don't think a cam will ever go in here. By the way, I have to tighten up this nut here on the end because it gets loose while I'm hammering. But look at these shavings right there. Look at it shaving the back of that bearing off. This is why you can't put the cam bearings in after you clean up for assembly, because all that shaving right there is going right in that hole. I'll keep driving her in. I'm not going to do all of them one at a time. I'm going to knock them all in and hope the cam doesn't fit, and then I can use the cutter. I got all the cam bearings in. They all went in okay. That number 5 was real tough, just like the last block was real tough on number 5, even though the bore was 188, which is dead on the money, but still hard to drive it in. I'm probably going to have to touch that with a bearing knife before we even try to put it in, because just so we'll have a chance, you know what I mean? I checked the cam journals, and they were all in spec and good on the lower side, which is good. because tight cam problems, so I'm fine with that. The cam bearings, I measured them after I put them in, and they were a little big, a thou big on these four, and this one was fine. That's not the end of the world because they give you 1 to 3, and that makes the clearance is a few tenths high on a few of the bearings, but I don't think we're going to lose a lot of sleep over having a few tenths extra cam clearance. So I think everything is good. I'll go ahead and check and make sure this cam's straight. Then we'll shave something off that cam and see if we can get it in there. Okay, let's see if this thing's straight. Wow. This is not a good start, is it? Wow. So we're 6 out. I just got this from Comp last month. It's a Comp Thumper cam. I guess we got some Comp cams quality here. Wow. Okay, well, I guess I will go get set up to... Wow. I find that hard to believe, really. I said it was out 6 thousandths, but when I edited this clip, you had a better view than I did. It's really out 7 thousandths. So I don't think we can do that by just hitting it here. I think we're going to have to do some here and here, and then come to here and see if we can somehow get this mess straightened out. So we go to the low side. We're going to hit it from the back side. This looks like the low. Then we'll hit this, and then we'll hit the middle, and we'll see where we're at. Okay, what have we got? Looks like we went from 7 to 4. So, rather than bore you all night with this, I'll just keep working on it. Because we're still 4 out, I'm still going to do this one, and come back to this one, and see where we get there. Well, that wasn't bad. That was just hit here again, hit it here again, and hit it here again, and we're down to 2. So I don't know if I should try to hit that just here or go there too. Let me measure it here and here, and then I'll try to figure that out. Well, it was still out 1.5 thou here and here, so I hit that again, and before I did the middle. So we're getting there. Let's see where we're at. Well, Well, that's really only a thou. I'm going from 98 to 99. We're a thou out. I guess you want me to hit it one more time and see if we can get better. Is that what you're saying? Okay. All right. Let's hope we're straight. Oh yeah. You didn't know if I was ever going to get there, did you? No, the dial indicator is not broken. And it's not on zero. You see it sticking up there. I had one guy accuse me of not touching. The dial indicator is not broke. Okay, we know we hammered that number 5 pretty hard, so we think we ought to see if there's anything. See, I can feel that. I can feel that. That's not going to be hard to find. If you let the nut get loose on the end, when you get to hammering, it starts loosening up. And if you let that nut get loose, the metal will get smaller and it'll try to go up in there and then it'll heavily damage the bearing. This is just a normal mushroom from having to pile drive that thing in there. But I can feel right there where it's been mushroomed. Luckily this one's a little easier to get into. I think I can come in from the back. So this is just a regular bearing knife. And I'm going to try to come in from this way if I can. We'll take that sharp edge and I'm just going to try to shave that mistake off where my reckless hammering. Actually, that wasn't my fault. I was just hitting it. I was just installing it. So we're not taking anything out of the bearing, so to speak. All we're doing here is shaving off right there. By the way, did you see all that trash in there that shaved off the bearing and landed down in there? See, I think this is looking good. You realize the cam might actually go in this thing when we get done? That would be exciting. Okay, now there may be something there, but I'm not really feeling it. I'll go ahead and try to. We're just cutting off the very tip of here, none of the bearing really. We're just shaving that right off where it got mushroomed. Now, let's see if the cam will go in. I do have one question though. What is that? Look how pulled up that is. I mean, that thing's high, big time. I'll have to file that down. That's terrible. The cam is in and it turns. Now I guess it's time to take it outside and wash it up and get it ready to put together.